Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Beatrice Hyppolite and this is your world. Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of Your World with Dr. Beatrice Hyppolite. Today we have the privilege to welcome in our studio the most beautiful young lady,
Thank you.
her name is Jane Ann Leandre.
Correct.
Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
You look pretty. You look too pretty. You have to give me the recipe. I don't know if I'll be able to make it work.
Thank you.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about you. What do you do, where you work, what you have done.
Yeah.
We don't need to know the age.
Okay. Thank you for that. So I am currently a field senior lead RBT. It just means registered behavior technician. So I work with children from the ages of 2 to 12 years old who are diagnosed with autism.
Okay. Oh, very impressive.
Yeah, thank
okay.
you.
How do you like it?
I love it. I love working with children, so it's really, really fun. I'm not sure if I'll do it for the rest of my life, but for right now, it is something that I enjoy.
Okay. Is there anything that you will consider as a passion down the road?
Yes, I actually would love to apply to graduate school to become a licensed mental health counselor.
Okay. And I cannot wait for that moment.
Thank you.
So we probably at that time, we probably will work on having our own private practice, right?
Ooh, that would be a dream.
Okay, so what we're going to talk about today?
Mental health, trauma, all the good stuff.
I know you were specific about the topic, inner feeling and trauma. What it is. Walk us through it.
Inner feelings and trauma. I mean, it's essentially exactly what you said are most inner feelings that I think we don't often share, especially not in public. And especially after going through a trauma, we have deep, deep feelings that I think we push inside. I mean, our body's just trying to protect us, so that is fair, but oftentimes we don't know how to work through that. We don't know how to release that. We don't know where to go or what to do with that. So it's about just all the things inhibiting our inner feelings, especially after a trauma.
Yeah. And so there any specific type of trauma or trauma in general?
I would say trauma in general, especially since I think trauma is specific to the person. I mean, obviously we have specific trauma like physical, emotional, psychological, all of these things, but nobody can define your trauma but you. So I think
because you were the one who lived it.
Yeah, exactly. So once you define that trauma, it becomes easier to work through those inner feelings, but I think the first step is defining what was traumatic for you. Yeah.
And people sometimes, may say, oh, you know what? Oh, it was just a simple thing. The person will just go through it. But I'd always believe nobody should place him or herself in a position to tell somebody how to feel or to express him or herself after experience, regardless of the, of the type of trauma that person had experienced, because you were not there, you were not the one feeling it, dealing it, or experience it. So it's always, it will be nice, and very respectful, not to tell somebody how she or he should feel after she or he had experienced, a trauma.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree. I think we hear the term trauma all the time and we define it with the bigger things in life, like the terrific and horrific things people go through. And that is the case. That is very, very traumatic. However, living every day is hard. It's not easy, especially in the world that we live in today. There's a lot going on all at the same time, and I don't think we were meant to process all of it at the same time. I don't think that's the world that God created for us or intended for us, and I think it's a lot to process. So going through something every day or small, some people might define it as small, but it might be traumatic for you because you have never been through it before, or you didn't expect to react the way that you did to that, and so it's probably bigger for you than it is for somebody else. So I think it is very personal.
Yeah, because it's like, when something traumatic happened to somebody, first of all, you were not expecting for that to happen. And when that happened, it just caught you by surprise.
Yep.
And everybody gonna have a different reaction because we are all different, and we tend to react differently to situations. It's a bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you were to share, what's one experience that you probably will consider that shape your approach toward healing and trauma?
I think the pandemic for me personally was a big event. Obviously, it's a big event for the entire world, but because it shielded everybody and forced us to be inside, I think personally for me, it forced me to deal with a lot of things that I think I was ignoring, because all I had was going home, going to work if I was an essential worker, or going home. Like that's all I had. We couldn't do anything else. We couldn't go anywhere else. So it pushes you in isolation, and what else do you do in isolation but just have time to think or have time to feel? And oftentimes that's when those inner feelings come out. And for me, it made me recognize that I had these deep feelings that I was definitely suppressing for a long time. Like now I do feel sad about this, or I do feel angry about that. And I'm working on it to this day, but I think the start of the pandemic, which was 2020, all the way up until now, led me to have to face that and understand those feelings are okay, and that it's okay to let it out, or it's okay to...
Or seek help.
Yes. And that was actually the first thing that I did. I sought help. I sought out therapy, and it was trial and error because I had to find the therapist that worked for me, which was a bigger thing. And especially as a young Black woman, finding a therapist that works for you is a really big and important thing, because you're gonna express yourself and reveal your innermost, deeper feelings. And so you need somebody that can relate to that, or not even relate to that, create a safe space for you.
For you.
Yeah. And so that was the first thing I did. And then I began journaling, which was one of my biggest coping mechanisms and helped me a lot through that. So yeah, it was just facing the reality of, like, because I'm in isolation and I have no other choice, these feelings are going to come up. Now I have to address it and be okay with it and seek help. And so yeah, I think that was a turning point in my life.
So when you basically started putting those feelings into writing,
yeah.
So what space, what was the safety net that created for you?
I think it just, because I knew that nobody else was going to open it up and read it, and it was just mine to have, I could just release anything that I wanted to release.
Okay.
I could just go crazy, even if it sounded really bad or messy or anything. I just kept on going and going and going. And yeah, I think that's what
because you were safe knowing that, hey, I'm not gonna be judged at any of the things that I put down, because it's mine, and I'm the only person who have access to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. How do you prioritize self-care when dealing with emotional pain?
Again, something that I'm still working on to this day, but I think I had to change my idea of what self-care looked like, especially for me. I can't do like the face mask or the bubble bath. It doesn't work for me. Self-care to me is taking a minute for myself, like removing myself and being in my room by myself, listening to music, or journaling, like I said, it's really big, or messaging my therapist if I need to, or writing, or doing all these things that I think make me happy for a short period of time, that again, I know that I don't need to go to somebody else for, so they don't have to judge me or anything like that. It's just for me. And so I also really enjoy listening to gospel music. Something that brings me back to inner peace, or jazz music, or I love that.
I love jazz music too.
Yeah.
But you mentioned something that is very important when you say bubble bath or something else that they're not for you.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
Because you have to find something that works for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like for some people, me, if I were to really suss something just put me in a situation to take a long walk or be in nature, you know. So I may go to a park where you have a lot of trees.
Yeah.
I'll just go, you know, like sit down there for the whole day meditating.
Yeah.
You know, but for some people it may not work for them. So like, you know, and if I were to find a treadmill and spend a whole hour on that treadmill, so only God knows how much I can release from that moment.
Yeah.
So that's why it's very important for everybody to know or find what works for you.
Absolutely, yeah. And I definitely spent time trying to force myself to make those things work for me, and then coming to terms with, like, because that's what self-care was defined as bubble baths and face mats and all that stuff, which is great, but it just doesn't work for me, because self-care is supposed to be something for yourself that brings you back and makes you feel at peace. And so, yeah, you just have to find what works for you.
Yeah, you know, it's very important, you know, to find what works for you. What is a misconception people often have about trauma and healing?
I love this question because, and I'm again still working through it, is that, which is perfect, because healing is not just one thing, it's constant throughout your life. And so in the beginning, especially when I first started therapy, I was like, why am I not done?
It's a journey.
Yeah. Why am I not done? Why am I not finished? Why do I still feel angry? Why do I still feel these feelings? But it makes no sense, because you're still going to go throughout life every single day. And so even if you healed from this part, what if something else triggers it and you're angry again? Or what if something else happens and you had a bad day? And I think that was the biggest one for me too. I would have a bad day and be like, why am I still feeling sad or angry? It's not the emotions that I'm trying to fight. Like, you are allowed to feel sad and angry. That's okay.
Exactly.
Healing isn't about removing those emotions or just being over it or being done. It's about feeling those emotions, accepting it for what it is. You had a bad day, you're sad, you're angry. Okay,
and find the best way to address them.
Yes, find the best way to address them. If you know, okay, I know I'm like upset right now, maybe I can go journal for a little bit, maybe I can go color, maybe I can go to the gym, and then I know I will feel better after that. And
or
that's
call
okay.
a friend and vent about it.
Ooh,
You know,
I do that, especially right now. Ooh, I'm constantly texting my friend, just text. Yep. Or I'll come home and bother my mom. I'm like, Mom, this happened. So yeah, definitely finding that and accepting it for what it is. Like, it's okay to have a bad day. It's a journey. It's not the destination.
exactly.
So yeah.
Very important to know.
Yeah.
Very important to know. Can you share a turning point in your own healing journey, if you were to?
A turning point in my whole life. I would say last year, maybe around summertime, was the biggest turning point, because I decided to pour back into myself. So I was addressing these issues in therapy and being like, okay, well, I'm working through these issues, and my therapist was like, why don't you apply these coping skills? And I'm like, well, I don't think that's fine, but then what happens after that? You have to constantly apply these coping skills. And then you also have to just find something, like I keep on saying, for you. So I started a new hobby that I really enjoy, and accepting that I don't have to be perfect at it. I'm just starting it, and it's just for my enjoyment.
You never have to be perfect, because if you start with the idea of being perfect, you probably will never try.
Yes.
Or even if you try, you may not continue trying.
Yes.
So that was a good mentality. Hey, know that, hey, I'm gonna try this, but I don't need to be perfect at it.
Flipping that switch was a big thing for me, because I really enjoy it, and I leave there with my cup more filled than anything else. So it's like, in the moment, yes, I could be a little frustrated that I wasn't exactly fantastic at it, but that's not the point. The point is doing something that fills your cup up and leaves you feeling more whole than anything else. And then if you have more things that fill your life up, so like at a certain point, I was literally just going home, going to work, going home, going to work, going home, going to work, and feeling like, well, why am I so depressed? Probably because I don't have anything else that's really pouring myself into it. So starting this new hobby was really amazing for me. And then continuing writing in a different form. Like, yes, I was journaling, but then writing poetry was also healing for me because I'm starting something that's filling my cup up and releasing the feelings that I've been like trapping for so long, but just in other ways. And I also really enjoy going to the gym. Going to the gym, like starting it is really hard, but every time I leave the gym, I feel great because I know I'm doing something that's healthy for my body and I'm doing something to feel strong. And that's a great feeling. So I think,
and emotionally, that help you release a lot of stress too.
Yes, absolutely. It definitely does. And I used to be, I think I was holding myself back from so long and being like, well, I'm not one of those people that doesn't work for me. You know, this doesn't work for me, that doesn't work for me. Okay, that's fine. But I also never gave myself the ability to try. And trying at it and being like, okay, maybe I'm not great at it right now, but I will eventually be great at it. And guess what? It does work for me because I always leave better than when I came. And that's how that works. So that turning point of just starting something that I know I'm not good at right now, but will eventually build up and then make me feel happy. So yeah, definitely.
And
that.
even if you never get to the point that you probably wish, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yep.
You don't need to beat up yourself, you know.
No.
Just the fact, you know what, I've been trying this for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, and I thought that at this point I would have been great at it, but I'm still in the trying mode. It's okay.
And it's only been a couple of months. I think it's like I think society also aids in the fact that it pushes you and adds so much pressure for you to be perfect at certain things when it's only been a couple months.
But at the end of the day, the life you are living, the experiences that you are having, you are the only one facing them, not society in reality.
Yeah.
So that's why, you know, so it's like, I understand we live in a society that we have to kind of like conform to, you know, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is who you are as a person and how you should taking care of yourself.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
when things get to fall down, society is not gonna be there to pick up the pieces.
Absolutely, yeah.
You're gonna have to pick up the pieces. You're gonna have to figure it out along with family and friends if you are lucky to have them around.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's very important. So I know, like I said prior, we cannot decide to say, you know what, hey, I'm gonna live in a society not to paying attention to society, but we cannot let society dictate how to live our lives.
Absolutely.
Other than that, that will have drive us really crazy. You know? How do you navigate vulnerability in relationships after experiencing trauma?
Definitely very slowly. If you were to talk to anybody in my life, they would say that I definitely am a closed book that slowly cracks open just a little bit and gives you just enough information to where if I know that I feel comfortable in this space, then I can keep going. So I think I'm great at having other people like tell me what they need to feel, and then I'll listen. And as for me, I provide a little bit of information, and if we're in a space in which I feel comfortable, then I can keep going. And having certain people in my life, like for instance right now, the friendships that I have in my life, they understand that, and so it makes us have a great friendship because they allow me to be me in the way that I need to be, because they understand, hey, I understand that it's hard for you to just open up the whole book and release all your information, so if you need a second, just tell me page by page, and that totally works for me. And I think that's a beautiful thing, because for me it's all about the safe space that we have between each other and our bond between each other first before I open up the entire book.
And which, it does make a lot of sense. I appreciate the fact that your friends, you know, or those around you understand and also respect you as a person, and also respect that, hey, you know what, boundaries need to be taking into consideration.
Yeah.
At this level, she doesn't want to give more than we were hoping for.
Yeah.
And whatever that she gives, that's what we have to work with.
Yeah.
Because, I probably, when I used to be, a younger version of myself, so it's like, at one point, some of my friends, thought that, hey, she doesn't talk at all. Mm-hmm. But it's important,
Yep, I get that all the time.
So to really understand, when and how much time you have to give people.
Yeah.
Some people, they just like to talk. They'll come and just open the entire book. Mm-hmm. Some people, you may only have half of a page.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have another 5 years or 10 years,
Yeah.
to complete that one page.
Yeah.
And I think, I was at that, not because, and something that is very important you point out. So it's like you want to feel trust,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
want to feel the trust.
Absolutely.
And you want to feel that, hey, you know what? It's whatever information that I'm going to put out there,
Yeah.
it's part of my life.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just go and throw, my life information out there and before we know it. So it's like, it's going to spread all over the world.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to publicize that part of my life that way. And everybody who is in my life, should understand or should be able to understand and respect the way I move.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I can respect the way other people are. I mean, I have most people in my life right now who are open books, and I applaud them for that. I think it's a beautiful thing. However, I have absolutely expressed too, and I think it's about communication too, the bigger thing. I've expressed that I'm not like that, and we can absolutely still be in each other's lives. We can be friends, but I'm gonna accept you the way you are, accept me the way I am, and they do, and it's been amazing because for me it's a full body experience. If my body just tightens up and I feel like I'm no longer able to communicate in the space, then I simply just shut down and I'm not able to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, even in therapy, when you have a client come to you for the first time, the client will not just gonna open up.
Yep.
And you have as the therapist, so you're gonna have to create that space where client can feel you, trust you. Before you may have a client coming to therapy for like 6, 7, 8, 12 sessions, and haven't told you anything. Mm-hmm. But what you're gonna say as a therapist? Oh, you know what? She or she's not talking, so I cannot waste the time. No. Mm-mm. No. Yeah. So it's people really want to feel that, hey, I can trust you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when I feel and I know that I can trust you, then that's the time I'll be able to open up.
Yeah.
But if I cannot trust you and deep in my bones, I feel it,
mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's not gonna happen.
Yep.
I'm sorry, because there are people, the minute that you enter their life or they enter your life, they wanna know everything.
Everything, yep. Mm-hmm.
No, and some will make you their math project. No,
yeah.
Don't try to make me your math project.
They're just trying to dig in there.
Because if
you're gonna make it worse.
If I catch you trying to make me your math project, I'm gonna make it hard.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna make it hard, and you're gonna make it worse, and we're gonna be here for way longer, or we simply just don't have to be here at all, which is fine. I think depending on who you've experienced during your life, either you're used to a person like me or you're not, and that's fine. But I will definitely be somebody that's challenges you in that way. If you're not used to it, then I'm definitely going to be a person that's like, I'm sorry, this is going to take some time, maybe next time, and you have to be okay with that. And,
okay. Yeah. Okay. And if you're not okay with it, because at the end of the day, we have to know when to let some people go.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong, when we let people go.
Yeah.
What one thing you have learned about resilience that you wish you would have known earlier?
I have a poem in my book called The Tapestry, and it speaks about resilience. And the first line, I believe, is resilience is my superpower. I didn't know this before, but I know this now. Resilience is not only what you're able to go through and push through, but it's also what you're able to let go of. And that was the biggest lesson, especially last year for me. Having to learn that it's okay to let go of environments of people that no longer serve you is a strength that I think everyone should value. Because I could sit here and be like, absolutely, I was very resilient for going through this and going through that and going through disrespect, going through all of these certain challenges. However, I could take away from that, okay, so I've gone through all this, right? And I could take away the lessons from it. But then I also know I have to know how to remove myself from it, because I think certain times a lot of people sit in the comfortability of the fact that because I went through all this, this is the only pain that I know, and I have to continue it and I have to sit in it. When I think resilience is not just pushing through the pain, but also taking the lessons from it and going beyond somewhere else. And so knowing when to remove yourself and to let go, that is a strength and that's a superpower. And although, yes, I do wish I knew that earlier, I'm also glad I didn't. I'm also glad I figured this out now. And so I can carry it on for the future.
If you are comfortable sharing, what is the reason why you just wish that you didn't?
Because of the lessons I took away, or because of the people that I met through it. I met some great people through it, and they're in my life right now. And I think about the fact that if I hadn't, I wouldn't have met them. And so there's always a silver lining somewhere. And I could sit here and be like, oh, I wish I didn't have to go through all that just to meet those great people. But because I did, now the bond I have with these people is so much stronger, because they know my pain and they see it and they allow me to talk about it and sit in it however many times I want to. So, and then we come out having an amazing time, and they always make me feel better. So yeah, that's kind of why I wish.
Those are the people who will allow you to be vulnerable.
Yes, and vulnerability is a big thing for me. I'm not really good at vulnerability at all. I can admit that. It's something that I have to work through. It's something that my therapist told me that I have to work through. So it's very hard for me to be vulnerable, and they know that. But the fact that they allowed a space for me to be that, especially knowing the person that I am, is amazing. So that's why I'm just grateful.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I can relate to that. So my next question, how do you help others create a safe space for discussing inner feeling and trauma?
This is an interesting question, because for some reason I attract the people that are open books and just tend to reveal all their information to me. I don't know why that is. I'm hoping it's because they just see me as a safe space, I think. But I also think I just talk less and listen more. I just sit and just allow them to go for as long as they need to go. And I also think it's because I'm able to give the feedback that I think they're not exactly adjusted to. So I have this particular friend who, goes on and on about romantic relationships. And then I turn around and I hit her with a very harsh reality quote. And I think she understands, she expects it now because she knows who I am, but in the beginning she didn't. And so I think she respects me for it. And I think that's able to carry on in the future. So I also don't push people for information. If they start out trying to explain something to me and they're like, you know what, I don't know if I can say the rest of it, I say, okay, whenever you're ready. We don't have to go deep up. You can tell me as much as you want to tell me. I will not pester you, because especially if it's a certain situation that's very hard for you to talk about, like a past experience that you have, and we just happen to touch on the topic, hey, you can tell me as much as you want to tell me. We can stop right here. We can do something else. So it's about having then,
And especially if trauma was involved,
especially
you
if
don't
trauma
want to
was involved.
push it for the person to open up,
Yeah.
and for you not being able to assist
Yes.
the appropriate
Yes.
way. So hey, it's safer
Yep.
to just leave it that way.
Yeah. And like, if I can tell by your face that you seem a little bit uncomfortable, I also may not know it's something traumatic. It might be very traumatic for you. So I'm like, hey, like, we don't have to keep on going. This is completely up to you. And oftentimes they're like, oh no, it's fine, I want to share. And then they share. Oftentimes it's like, yeah, maybe let's talk about something else. And I'm like, okay, that's completely okay. So I never push for too much information. I never delve. And because I'm the way that I am, I just end up being silent most of the time. So they end up filling the space with their conversation. And that's completely fine.
Very important. I really like that approach. How do you define healing in the context of trauma?
I define it as living your life while accepting your past experiences and learning to be okay with it. I think that's what I define healing as, because especially I have come to learn, and I'm still learning because I'm human and it happens every day. I will have something that triggers me and I will get really emotional about it and think to myself, well, I feel like I work through this, but I'm still human. It doesn't mean that I won't still have an emotion based on it, because yeah, I may have worked through it, but that experience made me upset. So why would I accept it? Like, why would I expect the emotion to change? You know? No, that was an upsetting experience, and that's okay. I'm allowed to be upset about it, but then I'm also able to be like, okay, I was upset. I didn't like that, so I know for next time I'll go about it differently, or I want to allow myself to be in that situation, or if it comes across, I know what to do now because I didn't like it before, so I can just say no the next time. So I think, yeah, it's definitely about just living and being okay with your past experiences and taking something away from it, so that way if it does happen again, then you have better coping mechanisms for it next time. But it's the emotional aspect of it is never going to go away. It's not going to go away, because we're humans. We have emotions all the time. We're sad, we're happy, we're frustrated. That part is never going to go away. I think oftentimes when it comes to healing, we attack the emotion aspect of it, but your emotions, they're not wrong. The emotions are your coping mechanisms. This is what your body goes through to help you keep you safe. So like, if it's going through something that is hurtful, then you're going to experience the pain, you experience the hurt, the anger through it, and that's completely fine. It's the experience itself that's not okay. And that way next time you can be like, I don't like this experience, and I feel this way about it. My feeling is completely justified because I can't help it. I'm upset. And I know now for next time, hey, I'm going to say no, or I'm just going to try to deteriorate from it and go in a different direction. So yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah, try to find a better way to address it.
Yes, absolutely.
You mentioned something that if you didn't like it, you will say no. Talking about that, how comfortable that you are into saying no?
Ooh, not comfortable at all. It's very scary for me saying no, because
Why so?
I'm an emotional person. I don't release my emotions, but they're in there. They're deep in there. And so saying no for me seems scary, because it feels like I'm doing something wrong when I'm only just trying to protect myself. But because that's what I know and that's what I've seen, saying no is disrespectful, versus, hey, saying no is protecting myself, and it's completely okay to say no.
Culturally, that's one aspect that you want to consider when you say saying no. It can be disrespectful.
Yeah.
It is culture related, or just...
I would say it's culture related, but I would also say in terms of like school, let's say when you're young, if you're in experience, because oftentimes I think we do this a lot to children, and I would know I work with children. And so the population that I work with, like I said, they have autism. So we have to teach them certain skills that typical children already have. We have to teach them to say yes or no to situations that they either feel okay with or they feel uncomfortable with. Whereas a child, when they're younger, they already can tell you yes or no. But oftentimes, I think we ignore what the children want because they're so young, and we think, oh, well, they don't know what they want. I disagree. I think they do know what they want. They're telling you yes or no. And so in school, let's say you're playing with the other kids and you're saying no, but then an adult comes in and they're like, oh, well, they're just trying to play with you. It's okay. But you're saying no. So I think it's also okay for that child to just not want to play with that child. And I think that's kind of where it starts, where it's like, if I say no, then I'm being mean. But it's not. I think you're saying no because you just don't want to play with this certain game with that certain child at that time. But maybe next time you'll say yes. So I think it starts from young, and I do think culturally, but also in the education system, we built it in a way that we feed children the answers and we correct them whether we think it's wrong or right. But I think it's just their opinions, and we have to figure out and navigate when it's time for us to come in and step in, and for us to also just accept their answer. Like, it's a no because the child simply doesn't want to do it, and that's completely fine. So I think growing up that way, I was like, sometimes I just can't say no. Yeah.
But it's okay to say no.
Yeah, I'm
because
learning now.
Sometimes, it's like, in order to protect yourself,
Absolutely.
you have to say no. I know there are people who will eat no for breakfast. And I don't know if I fall into that category, but in terms of protecting myself and knowing that saying no is for a good cause, I'll just say no.
Say no. Yeah.
And sometimes we tend to have more concern about the way the other people will feel or will react if we were to say no, compared to how this will affect or impact me as a person.
Yeah.
No, so it's like, it's a beautiful thing to look out for others.
Yeah.
But it's vital that I look for myself, out for myself first.
Yeah, because if you don't look out for yourself, you can't look out for others. And I think some people have it the other way around. Yes, you definitely want to look out for others. You definitely want to make sure that person is okay. But if I say no, it's not, you shouldn't be offended by that. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with me. And so coming to terms with that, especially now, and I think sometimes it's just something you learn with age if you're not used to it, but especially now, I'm still uncomfortable only because of the feelings that come up with that because of my past, but I'm definitely learning to become comfortable with saying no now and just making it a full sentence also, not explaining myself. No, I don't want to.
Let's say, for example, I'm gonna just throw that example out there. Let's say, for example, you and I are friends, right? And for whatever reason, I'm not feeling well.
Yeah.
And so there was a party that, I know that we both were invited. And you came and asked me, hey, you still want to go to the party? Because I would like for you to be there.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not feeling well.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you no. Yeah. At this moment, I have to be home to take care of me. So there will be a lot of other parties to go to. At this moment, my answer will be just no. And you should be able to be comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And if for whatever reason you choose not comfortable with my no response,
I can't help you with that.
I can't help you. So hey, I'm not saying that we're no longer friends.
Right.
I'm saying that I'm not going to that party because I'm not feeling well.
Yeah.
That's bottom line.
Yep.
What one thing you wish people understood about living with trauma?
That it reveals itself in different ways for different people. I think oftentimes we expect people to have giant emotions when it comes to that, but people are different. So like for me, I internalize it. And so on the outside, it could look like I'm perfectly fine, just living throughout my life, but I am fighting an internal battle because I don't know what to do with all of these emotions because I haven't accessed my coping skills yet or any of my coping mechanisms yet. So I'm just walking around and I'm trying to put on a brave face because I have to do all these things, go to work, hang out with friends, be normal for society, but in reality, it's deep inner for me. But with somebody else, it just reveals themselves on the outside. And you can tell from just looking at them, they look tired, they look sad, they look like they just can't do anything. And sometimes they can't move, they're stuck. They're stuck in their freeze mode, and they just cannot function either way. And we often attack those kinds of people because for me, it looks like I'm good and dandy, right? I'm faking it. When we come after those people who are actually physically struggling because we're not used to that, right? We're used to people having to go throughout their daily lives and they're making it hard, but people have different reactions to trauma, especially living with trauma in the every single day. That person just can't continue to function. They need help. And recognizing that they need help versus bashing them is better for them and for the continuation. So yeah, I think people just have a different reaction to it, and I think that's what I want people to understand. Definitely, it just comes out in different ways, and it's okay because we're different people.
Okay, so now let me go with my last question. How can listeners support loved ones struggling with trauma?
Respecting their boundaries and cultivating a space where they could either come to you or come to somebody else. So if you know that person's having a difficult time, yes, you can be there. I know people definitely want to be there physically, emotionally, they want to support, but you have to meet that person where they are. If they're asking for space, give space. If they're asking for support, give support. If they're asking for access to mental health therapy, provide it with them. Meet them where they are, but don't push their healing just because you're okay. That's not how that works. So if you really want to actually be a good support system, meet them where they are. And that way, maybe one day they can meet you where you are. And it might take time. You have to have patience for that. But if you really want to be there and support that person, you have to have patience and just meet them where they are until they are ready to meet you where you are.
That's very important, and I hope those who are watching, are really taking that into consideration. Now, since we don't have any more questions, but we're gonna talk about something that is very important. And you recently came out with this book titled "A Thread I Can't Hold," and we wanna talk about it. So, what was the motivation, for you to come? Yes, I've noticed it's a series of poems. So what was the idea? What forced you? What was behind that?
Yeah. So my book is called A Thread I Can't Hold, Suffocating from the Inside Out. The title explains exactly what it is. It's what I'm going through in a series of poems, literally suffocating from the inside out, from all the emotions that I simply can't hold. And the motivation was truly deeply, I've always wanted to come out with a book, never knew what kind of book it would be, thought it would be way in the future. But I decided to start writing poems, and I challenged myself to just self-publish and see where it goes. And it's just expressing myself and seeing if somebody would connect to it. And I think somebody would.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Oh, no. Some of them are really, really amazing. So if people were to look for that book, so where they will find it?
Yes, it is on Amazon and it's out now. And that is mostly the only platform. It is online. You can find it on Amazon only. So yes.
And how much is the book?
It's $10.
Okay, so
very inexpensive.
Come on, so it's a good price. Let's go out there and support Jane Ann. So we can do that, $10. So that much, and it's a very easy read.
Yes.
So
it's only 54 pages. The poems, I planned it to be in sort of a series, so it tells a sort of a story. So I think it's easy to follow. It has a happy ending, which you don't see oftentimes in poems. So yeah, I think I'm really proud of it.
Okay, will you say some of the poems will help somebody who's dealing with trauma? Like in terms of coping?
I think it might be a trigger, but I also think if you read through the whole thing, it also might be very healing for sure. Once you get to the whole thing, because you realize it starts off just everything out on paper, very high emotional, and then it comes at the end where you have some sort of resolve, where you feel like there is hope. So yeah, I definitely think it starts off like depressive, but then by the end of it, I think once you finish it, you feel like there is hope to continue. So I personally think it does. It helped me. Yeah.
When you realize that, hey, you know what, I have to have a book out there, and at the time is right now.
Yeah.
When did you realize that?
In the fall, and I only realized that because to talk about healing, like I said, I started a new hobby. I started feeling good about myself. I started feeling like maybe if I put it all pen to paper and see what it feels like, what it looks like, it would help me even more, and it did. It's very freeing. And then I thought, if I were me and I felt the way that I was feeling, I would love to read something like this and feel like, you know what, somebody else feels the same way, or somebody else can relate, or even if you can't relate, raw emotion on paper.
In a way, it's a book that you wish you had.
Yes,
when
absolutely.
you were dealing with your own struggles.
Yes, absolutely. And I think raw emotion on paper is very powerful. And I think we lost that kind of sense because we're all just trying to fix ourselves right now. But I think it's okay to read the emotion on paper and allow it to sink in and feel like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. So yeah, that's why I wanted it out.
Okay, so it's like basically, so I'm just being curious.
Yeah.
Because it's poems.
Yeah.
So not anybody, it's like I came out with a book, 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
My book is a memoir.
Yeah.
So it's like the story was there.
Yeah.
All I had to do is just like fill in the blank.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to write poems, it requires a different set of skills. So, no, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I will probably never be able to write poems. And I read some of them. They are so beautiful.
Thank you.
So when you started writing down, so it was in a form of poems, or you just write things down?
Well, yeah, like I said, I've been journaling. It definitely wasn't in the form of poems. Once I started writing down my feelings, it was just words on paper. And then I thought to myself, because when I was very young, I wrote a poem about art, and it got published in a book, just one poem about art. And I don't know why, but it just came up in a memory of mine, and I thought, let me try again. Let me try to write a poem again. And I thought about it as a way to just literally write the rawest emotion that I can think of in a way that
as a coping mechanism.
Yes, in a way that is less scary than going up to someone and being like, I feel very like this. It's a way that you can read it read it and figure out what it feels like and what you feel about it, versus me just saying I feel very angry, versus you can read the words on the page and feel, I think this person feels very angry through this poem. So I just find it fascinating, and I like the wordplay of it all.
It's a very beautiful book, and I encourage everybody to go out there and support Jane by buying a copy for just $10. The book is being sold on Amazon, and I know, it's your work, so you probably love all of the poems, in there. But I'm pretty sure you may have one or two, or maybe a few of them that you considered as your favorites. So, and before we even finish with this, and I would love to have you read for myself and the viewers one of your favorites.
Yeah, absolutely. I can read two.
Okay.
One of these is my mother's personal favorite.
Whose personal?
My mother's.
Oh, your mother's favorite. Okay.
It is called What is Silence? How do I sit in silence if I don't even know what it is? What is silence? Is it the absence of thought, a room filled with light? Is it something within me or something out? I can't sit in silence. The noise is my comfort. The colorful flicker of the TV, the pitter-patter of feet, the crickets chirping deep into the night. I need the sounds to drown the shadows creeping in the background. The voices painting pictures of my demise. Why should I sit in silence when silence is where my demons rise?
Wow, very powerful.
Thank you. And then I can also read one of my personal favorites. It is called The Tapestry. It speaks to resilience, like I was talking about earlier. So this is called The Tapestry. Resilience is my superpower. It's the tightrope holding me up as the wind keeps me off balance. A balancing act between my pain and my relief. It's often mistaken for weakness because it doesn't present as strength. Yet the most powerful strength of all is the one unrecognized by most. See, resilience is my superpower. It reflects my intelligence as I hold space for your reflection through the pieces of my broken mirror. It connects me to hope I see, peeking through the crack of a building door, whispering joy from the other side. With every step, I defy the odds, turning scars into stories and darkness into light. Resilience is my superpower. Resilience is my tapestry, woven with threads of insight, and in the silence, I gather my strength and suddenly take flight.
Ooh! Resilience is my superpower as well.
Good. I love that.
Good job.
Thank
Good
you
job.
so
Congratulations. Like I said, go get your copies. I already have mine. So, darling, it was a pleasure having you on the show. So I know the commute was not easy. You travel from upstate to come here. I don't have enough words to thank you.
No, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
No, any last word to the viewers before we leave?
Like I said, you can get it on Amazon now. I also started an Instagram page. It's JA_Leandre, Leandre. I post some of my poems on there too. I will share some of the poems through my book. So if you want to hear more from me, you can definitely follow me on there.
Okay. I'm gonna let everybody go. That said, it was with you, Dr. Beatrice Hyppolite, with Your World.
Thank you so
Stay
much.
beautiful.
Thank you.